If you implement the simple steps I'm about to show you, you'll never have to manually reply to your lead form fill outs for your business ever again. My name is Daniel. I'm the co-owner of Page Media, and we are an AI and automations agency specializing in making business processes that make small business owners more money, and doing so while also saving them time in the process. What I'm about to show you is an AI process that we've created that essentially looks at whenever someone fills in a form, whether that's coming from Facebook, from your website, wherever it may be that you have forms set up. We can configure it in such a way to react to all of those, and that will automatically look at what that person has filled out in the form and respond to them in a way that is extremely relevant, and that will address any concerns that they may have already in that form straight away without you having to lift a finger. So let's get into it. So for the sake of this, I'm going to pretend that I am, of course, a customer for Joe's Renos and that I'm looking to have my kitchen renovated. So let's fill out this form here. So I've pre-filled all these. Thank you for taking the time to complete this form. Cool. So now if I go ahead and run this automation, of course, this would happen automatically once it's actually turned on. We'll let this thing run here and you'll see what the result is in just a second. So I want to show you this in real time just so you understand how quickly this happens. So it's been 20 seconds, and already now I've got a new email, your new kitchen. Hey John, that's me, I'm John. Jemima here from Joe's Renos. I saw you filled in our form for a kitchen renovation and I love the ideas you shared. A modern kitchen with white marble waterfall island sounds stunning. It's great that you're considering both marble and Caesar stone, as each offers unique benefits, and I completely understand the importance of having a good range hood. Now, look, I'm just going to stop here. Look at how much it gets into the detail really of what we filled out in the form. I mean, if I just pull it up here just so we can see again, I'd like to modernize my kitchen, particularly want a white marble waterfall island. It can be marble or Caesar stone depending on cost. Good range wood is important too as we cook a lot. Also lots of LED lighting fixtures. We've used Miele appliances before and love them, but if the cost is too much, then Electrolux is okay too. So obviously this person has given a lot of detail, which is great because we can see, this person being me of course, we can see that these are signs of a good lead, and this is the type of lead that it's ever more important to respond to quickly till we make sure that we capitalize on that and that we actually turn this person into, initially at least into a quote and get a quote booked in. But eventually, obviously, of course, we want to win over this project and we want to position ourselves as Joe's Renos as the best company for the job and the most serious company. And the number one thing to do that is how quickly you can respond. So if we go to the email here, what they got in response to this. So, hey John, Jemima here from Joe's Renos. I saw you filled in our form for a kitchen renovation and I love the ideas you shared. A modern kitchen with a white marble waterfall island sounds stunning. It's great that you're considering both marble and Caesar stone, as each offers unique benefits, and I completely understand the importance of having a good range hood, especially since you love to cook. Your preference for Miele appliances is fantastic, but it's wise to have Electrolux as a backup just in case. When will be a good time for a quick 5-minute call with Joe? He'd love to discuss your vision and help bring your dream kitchen to life. Kind regards, Jemima from Joe's Renos. Bang. Now, just look at this. I mean, within 30 seconds of this person having filled out the form, this is the kind of reply that they're getting. Now, just think to yourself, if you were the customer, where does this position you in comparison to your competition? I'm sure that, when people go through this process of filling out these forms online, as you know, they like to get quotes and they like to shop around and ask different brands. And a lot of the time, even if you're good, these are the types of things that make a difference. How quickly do they respond? How in tune are they to what it is that I'm actually asking for? And when you take yourself and you position yourself as this this expert that really listens to what it is that they want and really answers each one of their questions and the bits of information that they gave you so quickly as well, it really just puts you in a completely different light to 99% of other companies that you're going to be competing with in your local area. So look, I hope you can see how truly powerful this is. Of course, from there, a good idea would be to tie it in with something like another tutorial I made, which was to show you guys how to actually have an AI auto-responder to your email, so that when this person actually replies to this email, they would actually then be replied to as well, once again, which would aid you in actually getting a quote booked in. And you can do all this yourself. So let's jump into the back end of this. So yeah, you already saw this a little bit a second ago, but I want to show you actually what's involved and what actually goes on in the back end of this here. So essentially what happens is we have a Gmail module here that essentially watches your emails as they come in. And we essentially set up a filter so that it only cares about emails. We can do this a number of ways, either emails that have a specific subject or emails that come from the specific address that sends you, that sends you the form fill out. You can choose a number of ways to do this. Now, of course, once again, if you were doing this for something like Facebook, it's really, really easy in Make to change and to choose which ones of these you want to use. So in this example, we've used the email ones, which would most likely be coming in from your website. But you could easily do this for a Facebook lead form. In fact, if you literally just replace this with a Facebook new lead module, it's the rest of the process is just the same. So essentially what happens then is the information about this lead is passed into this GPT, this AI widget here. Essentially, we tell it that it is an expert, what we call a text to JSON parser, because what it is that we want it to do, and the reason we've written it out like this, is essentially get the information that comes out from here, from this Gmail widget here, which comes out in JSON format, and turn it into text. And the reason why will make a little bit more sense in a second here. So you'll receive an email with details of a lead form that has been filled out for a renovation company. This is the email, and then we give it the email from the Gmail here. This is what this module means. Its role then is to analyze the email carefully and from it derive the lead form submission details so that it can pass them into JSON format. And the reason we want that is so that we can actually use these as different variables. So instead of just being a big block of text, it is actually split up into, like one variable is their name, one variable is their phone number, one is the email, so that we can then manipulate it and use it later on in this in this automation. So we go on here. Specifics, you are to output this in a JSON format. You can with no additional notes or extra text. So you can see here we're really, really hyper specific about what it is that we want it to do to make sure that there's no errors, because obviously this is something that we want to run indefinitely, and we don't want to be having to keep coming back and tweaking. So from our testing, these are the things that we've added in order to ensure that it doesn't stray from its path, essentially. So we give it some example outputs here as well of the format that it's supposed to output it in, and this is what it looks like. Essentially, this is what it is. I mean, we're just giving a couple of examples here. And obviously, feel free to pause this so you can copy the stuff all down if you'd like. From there, it goes into a JSON parser where what it passes is the result of this, is what this outputs, essentially, what the ChatGPT outputs. And the idea there is to turn it from just something that is written in a JSON format to actual JSON bundles, we call them, which are essentially just, the different variables that I spoke about a bit ago. Now, these are passed on here, and this is the reason that we needed them. This is quite a lengthy prompt where we actually explain what it is that we needed to do in terms of replying to the email. So who you are. So you're an expert virtual assistant for a home renovation business called Joe's Renos, and your name is Jemima. You're capable of choosing between two options in responding to lead form fillouts for Joe's Renos. The two options are, number one is asking the lead for more details on the renovation and what they're looking to have done. This is in the case that, if someone hasn't filled out the form in such great detail as we saw in the example, what it will then do is the email, instead of just immediately asking them to book a call, it may ask them to either give more details or ask them if they want to have, like a 5-minute call where they can discuss further. But it's just to choose between those two different options so that you're not just asking people for calls willy-nilly, even if their form fill out might have just been, fast, might have just been really, really short. And then option 2, of course, is asking them if they'd like to discuss their project with Joe by booking a call. So we give it some context here that the inbox these emails will come into is that of a home renovation business. The lead forms we're interested in getting more details from are those that haven't provided much detail about the specifics of their project, as I just explained. On the other hand, the lead forms that we are interested in asking to book a call with are those that have already provided a lot of information in the form under the more info section. When writing the replies, you must make them hyper relevant to the form submission, and you saw that in the example before, how much it really delves into the details of whatever the person submitted in the form. And this is important for both options 1 and 2, but especially for option 2. So it's critical that you make it clear to the form submitter in your response that they are heard, that they're speaking with experts in this field, and that they're reassured about what they want, and most of all, that they're speaking to real people at the heart of the business, and people that care about their customers, because this is the image that you want to portray. So ultimately, your role is to read the submission, which is this result from the ChatGPT here, thoroughly, determine whether it is an email from a potential inquiry and not spam or marketing or a bot, because obviously we don't want to be responding to that, and output yes if it is and no if it isn't. If yes, you are then to choose between the two different options which we mentioned before, which would essentially be whether it chooses to write an email asking them to book a call, or an email asking them for more info if they haven't provided that much info, yada, yada, yada. And this, once again, sort of just goes on and it more further specifies. You can see this is very, very long here. What we've essentially given it here are guidelines as to why it needs to do exactly what we're asking here, because it's quite not too complicated, but it does have a bit of depth, this what we're asking it to do. So we just sort of reassure, and this is sort of kind of what you have to do with AI, is really reassure what it is that you're asking for. As a general rule of thumb, and this goes for a lot of things, AI is really, really, really good at doing exactly what you ask it to do. So the more specific we can be, the better. It only takes a second to process this stuff anyway, so it's not like it's going to, delay us in that sense. So we tell it what would happen if it didn't do this, what would happen to us as a business. It sounds a bit silly, but it really, really works for this purpose. So once again, feel free to pause this as I scroll through here if you'd like to copy this down, but it is quite long. And of course you can also try and make this a little bit shorter if you'd like. We'd like to make sure, and this is how we build it out for our customers as well, that we cross all our T's and we dot all our I's, in the sense that there can be no chance that after this is built out for a business that there will be any mishaps or anything, or any embarrassments in front of clients. But that's up to you if you want to go to this extent. So yeah, I'm going to keep scrolling here just so you guys have time to pause and copy this down if you wanted to. And then once we get down here into the specifics, it is once again just reaffirming what it is that we need them to do in terms of what format it should be outputted at, which is once again a JSON format for the same reasons I described earlier. We need this stuff to be outputted in a way that we can pass back, through the system and that it can read. And once again, some example outputs here, which you also may want to copy. Cool. From there, it is then passed, once again, as a JSON. We turn it into a format that it can understand. And what we then do after that is actually, we put another ChatGPT widget here that all it does is one simple thing, which is it formats the email in a way that looks like a person has actually just sat down and written it. So instead of looking, like a chunk of text, it actually formats it with line spaces and things like that, which doesn't happen automatically. So the easiest way to combat this is just to add another AI widget here, which is exactly what we've done. From there, that output gets sent to Gmail, essentially. And it just replies to the email address of the person that originally filled out the form. And all this happens, as you saw before, in literally 30 seconds, not even. But yeah, so look, I hope you can see just how powerful this is in two ways. I mean, first of all, it saves you so much time. I mean, you don't have to go through, and when leads come through, whether it's from Gmail or from Facebook or from wherever it may be, and they've filled out a form, you don't have to spend the time sifting through these and, seeing what's spam and what you need to reply to and what this person's asking for, because the AI, this system here, will just do it all for you. And on top of that, of course, this just sets you in such a different light in front of your potential customers that it really just puts you two steps above. And if a person, as I mentioned before, is going through and filling out all these different forms for all these different companies, this just puts you here while they're here, even if your work is the same. And honestly, even if their work is better than yours, because the person isn't going to say that until they've actually engaged with you. But yeah, do let me know if you have any questions about this. I will definitely reply to comments. And make sure to check out this other video as well that I made showing exactly how you can, sort of rebut this, if you will, where if a person replies, or if anyone sends you an email in general, an AI agent will both reply to that email and then email you telling you exactly what's happened and the action steps of what you need to do, which once again, everyone that we've implemented this so far has just praised how much time it's saved them. So yeah, catch you guys next one.